of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, yeah. Game of Thrones, yeah. Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones.
Welcome to Game of Thrones Chat, Season 5, Episode 16. Top 10 Fighters of Westeros and Essos. I'm Dan and I'm unsullied because I have not read the books by George R. R. Martin, those Song of Ice and Fire things.
I'm Thomas, I'm double solid because I've read the books twice.
And we are here to talk about the coolest fighters in Westeros.
Or best fighters, or strongest fighters, or there's different names for it. And it's all, I mean, we try to be objective, but it's going to be subjective anyway.
But that's the charm of it.
Yeah.
So I will cover the TV series. I will only consider things that happen in the show, whereas Thomas will consider both, I guess.
I will focus on the books.
Okay.
My stuff is based on books and yours is based on TV.
Yes. So, without further ado, the number 10 fighter in Westeros. And Essos.
According to TV series.
Wait, rules. I have rules.
Oh, you have rules for your list?
Yes, I have rules. Because
you have rules. I also have rules for mine, but you
have different rules because we haven't coordinated this at all. So, first of all, it's the TV series. Second, the person has to be judged during the duration of the show. So, for example, Robert Baratheon, very cool fighter, but that happened before the show started. Mm-hmm. So I will only consider fighters during some period of the show. Mm-hmm. I will also discard any non-humans and supernatural beings. So the Shadow Baby, Wund, Drogon, not on the list. Yeah. Okay, number 10 on the list is old Sir Barristan Selmy.
All right.
Yeah, he was a ferocious fighter. He was the best knight, etc. But it's not true anymore. He's old. He can still put up a fight, as we saw in season 5.
Yeah.
But he's not the best. Not anymore.
But you remember what he said when they fired him from the Kingsguard?
Yeah, but none of the guys on top of him, over him on this list, were in that hall.
Yeah, Jaime Lannister wasn't there, and I don't think was the Hound there. Well, he wouldn't.
The Hound is not on the list.
But he said that he said even now I could cut through you like a knife cuts cake.
Yes.
Yeah, and in the books he said I could cut through the fire you like a knife cuts cheese. So, so is cake or cheese? Oh, whatever.
A cake seems easier to cut.
Okay, number 10, Barristan Selmy.
Number 9, top fighter of Westeros, Daario Naharis.
Of Westeros.
And Essos.
And Essos.
So Daario Naharis, obviously very cool, but I feel that he thinks he's more cool than he actually is. He's great at fighting, but he's not the best. He's not even in the top 8. He's just number 9.
Okay, but can we discuss then Daario Naharis versus Barristan Selmy?
Yes.
So in a fight between the two of them,
yes,
Daario wins.
Yes.
And in a fight between them, will Barristan Selmy wear his? Will this be a fight on foot, or
it will probably be a fight that happened quite suddenly because they're on the same side. And they got upset over something, and then Daario Naharis murders poor Barristan Selmy.
And what armor is Barristan Selmy wearing?
He's wearing his nightgown because this happened early in the morning. Number 8 on the list is the Mountain. Pre-monster.
That's the big guy.
Yes, just because he is pretty big, and he is obviously quite good at fighting. So I think, Daario Naharis even speaks of fighting a bigger guy, and he's wrong there when he looks at the arena and speaks about how the smaller guy will win and the big guy wins.
Okay.
So I think the Mountain could take Daario Naharis. So we move one step further on the list, coming to number 7, Oberyn Martell.
Oh,
because I think he was a better fighter than the Mountain, but he lost because he was focusing on the wrong thing.
Yeah, he had him beat, and then he started torturing him instead of finishing off.
Yes, and I also think that Oberyn Martell would butcher Daario Naharis and would defeat Barristan Selmy. Which... And this is perhaps the most controversial person on the list because he is very hard to judge. Number 6 on the list is Syrio Forel. Because he has seemed awesome and was the first sword of Bravo, so he's a top 10 fighter of Essos.
Did he lose to Marion Trant, or did he...
We do not know, right?
We do not know, but maybe you have a theory about this. Did he beat him?
I think he's alive.
So he ran away?
Yes.
Because Sir Marion Trant survived the...
Maybe he has humiliated Sir Marion Trant, and Sir Marion Trant refuses to speak of it. That's why nobody knows that he's alive.
Okay,
because Marion Trant, obviously not even considered for this list.
Yeah, but I was just thinking that before Marion Trant faced Syrio Forel, he faced some Lannister guardsmen, and he messed them up.
Yes.
They weren't sitting upright afterwards.
And you don't become the first Sword of Bravos by being weak.
He obviously has mad skills.
Yes. So we move to number 5 on the list, and this might also be higher on most people's list, but I will argue why. Number 5 is Jaime Lannister with hand.
With hands.
With hands. 2 hands.
Two-handed.
Yes.
Two-handed Jaime.
Two-handed Jaime. Great fighter. Somewhat on the decline. We seem to get the impression that he lives a bit on old merits even when he has 2 hands. But he's still fantastic.
But he's 40 years old.
He's not winning tournaments anymore. He's fading a bit. So that's why he comes to number 5.
Not working out as much, and
Yeah, now we get into the top 4. Number 4, Sir Loras.
Sir Loras?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it seems that Sir Loras is the knight. He cheats a bit against the mountain, but he spends all his time training. We get the impression that he is a fantastic fighter.
Yeah.
And that he is the tournament knight to care for.
He does beat the mountain when they're jousting, although he used the horse.
Yeah, he cheated.
Kind of cheat, but I mean, it doesn't say in the rules that you can't ride a mare in the heat when you're facing the mountain's big stallion.
Yeah. I kind of get the impression that he is now better than Jaime.
Okay.
But these two might be interchangeable, and even Loras might be further down the list. But I put him this high.
Yeah.
So which 3 are left? Number 3 on the top 10 fighters of Westeros and Essos list is Brienne of Tarth.
Yeah.
Because Brienne has grit. Brienne just keeps coming. Brienne is a fighter more than anyone else. She will fight until the very end. And this way she will defeat the Hound. She will defeat Sir Loras. She wins fights. She's got the winner instinct.
Yeah, I mean, especially the way she beat the Hound. First, she bought him in a sword fight. I mean, she won against him in a sword fight.
Yeah.
And then it turned into a brawl, and she won the brawl as well.
Yes.
So that, I mean, she just showed that she was better than the Hound.
Brienne finds a way, and that's why she's a fantastic fighter.
Yeah, and she just went for a takedown against Sir Loras there at the melee in the beginning of season 2.
Yes.
And she just laughed at Jaime, basically.
Yeah, so she is a fantastic fighter, but she still doesn't make top 2 on the list.
Okay.
Number 2 on the list is another Essos fighter, Khal Drogo.
Oh.
Because he has lived his entire life. And here's the difference. Now I'm gonna quote myself. That's very humble. Because I wrote a novel called Swordplay in Hardalon, Svärdspel i Hardalon.
Yes, I read it.
Where the point was that the main character in the book, now I'm spoiling my own book. Where is this heading?
It's okay, I read it.
The main character in the book has spent her entire life practicing sword fighting. And she is a true master of fighting, but she loses in the end towards someone who has fought all her life. She has been in fights all the time. And Khal Drogo he's been fighting these upcomers. We see him defeat one when he gets his stupid wound. And
then he loses to a paper cut.
Yes. But I still think this guy is a fantastic fighter.
Yeah, that fight against that guy when he just drops his weapon and kills him with his bare hands, that's insane.
Yes, I think Khal Drogo would take anyone on this list except the number 1 fighter in Westeros and Essos. And that is, of course, and he might be disqualified because it is very unclear exactly how supernatural he is. but it is Jaqen H'ghar,
Oh.
Mr. Super Ninja.
Yeah.
That he just... We know how Brienne and Khal Drogo wins, but we just don't really know how Jaqen H'ghar wins. He just wins.
He gets the job done.
Yes, because he is the Red God. Maybe.
Maybe.
Yes. But he is, he's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
He's all I wanted from the ninja movies I watched when I was a teenager. And here are some honorable mentions that I feel are still great fighters, but not good enough to make the top 10 list. Jorah Mormont. And these are actually in order, or I started to order them. I don't know if I retained the order, but I'm giving number 11 to Jorah Mormont.
Okay.
Because he was a great fighter, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He won a tournament and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'm giving number 12 to Stannis Baratheon. He was more of a general than a fighter, but he did pretty well in that battle, his final battle.
Yeah.
Like everybody was dead except him. He was wounded, the two guys approached him, he just dispatched them.
Yeah, in the TV series it does lead from the front. That means
Yes.
that you have to be a good fighter.
So I think Stannis was a pretty good warrior. Number 13 on my list is the Hound.
Oh, that low.
Yeah. And actually I'm thinking now that maybe number 14 should be high. Number 14 is Grey Worm. The number 1 Unsullied.
Okay.
Who was a pretty good fighter, right? He seemed to be on
Yeah.
the level of Doran Horris, but we never seen him... We've seen him beat people with knives, but not much more.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really seen... Okay, so in that fight there in the alley, he kills a bunch of people.
Yeah. Let's not get into too much details on these guys, so I'm just listing them.
Okay.
Number 15 is Arya Hota, because he seems awesome, but we never really see him do anything.
Yeah.
Number 16 is Jon Snow. He is a great fighter, but he's too young, he's inexperienced, and he wouldn't beat anyone on the list
Kind of small.
above him. Yeah, number 16... number 17 is Bronn. Bronn is a great fighter, but he admits that he is aging, and he just wins by tricks. But
Yeah.
I think he knows that he would lose.
But all's fair.
He doesn't want to fight the mountain, etc. Yeah. So I think Bronn knows it.
But he does admit that he could beat the mountain. He's not saying that he would lose.
I don't think he believes in it. He has a chance, but
He doesn't want to take the risk.
the odds wouldn't be in his favor.
Perhaps you're right about that.
Next on the list, I put the Blackfish because I think he's awesome, but I have no basis for that.
He talks a good game.
And then
Fires a good arrow.
the next person on the list is Robert Baratheon as fat and old, because I think he's still a pretty fearsome warrior. He was perhaps the best in the land in his age with his warhammer and stuff.
Yeah.
So some of that still remains. Muscles is the last thing that leaves you. So he could still crack people's heads open if he wanted.
But he will get gassed in 30 seconds.
Yes, and I even think that and this might be wrong, but I put Ned Stark below him.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, because he was somewhat good at fighting at some point.
He was like average swordsman.
Oh no.
He would kill a bunch of peasants in no time flat.
Okay.
But he wasn't like top notch or anything.
And then I thought about...
Although he might actually beat Robert now, because Robert has let himself get so fat.
Yeah, so that's why he probably should be... I put Robb Stark on the list and then it ends.
Okay.
I was thinking about Corin Halfhand, but we never... Maybe he was just fantastic at ranging. And
he was supposed to
very
be
good at fighting.
like really, really good, and then he lost half his hand, and then he trained himself to fight with his left hand.
Okay.
Become really, really good as well.
So he would probably kill Robert Baratheon at least. Now... I'm talking too much. Let's move over to the top 10 fighters in Westeros book lore.
Yes.
With no fighters from Essos then.
No fighters from Essos. Maybe I should have included them, but...
No, this makes our list different, which is good.
I decided not to, so, I mean, shout out to Syrio Forel, Dario Naharis, Khal Drogo, Strong Belvas for being good fighters, although I think that they might actually lose to all the people I have on the top 10 list.
Okay.
Because they have a completely different fighting style. And the thing is, in Westeros, they fight in full plate mail.
Yes.
Whereas in Essos, they fight like lightly armored or no armor at all.
Yes.
And if you have no armor at all, fighting with an arak, that sickle sword that they use, it's really good because they don't have to penetrate that armor.
That's true.
But the fighters of Westeros, they use weapons that are more suitable to penetrate armor. So you see that in the books where there's some instances where armored where plate fights against the rocks, and the rocks just scratches the plate.
Ooh.
And then of course you have to be smart enough to run around and jump around and try to tire them out, like Bronn does, for example, when he fights Sir Vardis Eggen in the Vale.
Yeah.
And Sir Vardis is like heavy plate, and Bronn is just like half helm and just some armor. But he tires him out, but you have to be smart enough to do that.
Yes.
And not everybody is smart enough to do that. There's several instances of this in the books where people face off and they just try to hurt them anyway, and it doesn't work, and then they die because of it.
All right.
And I'm happy that I didn't have to gauge Jack and Hagar, because he might be just a god. And,
yes.
And then I excluded everybody who might be a god or a giant also from the list.
Yes.
Because then there would be like a list of 10 giants and 5 gods or something. Or
yeah, and Drogon.
yeah, and some dragons. So that's there's like, which dragon is strongest over Viserion and okay, which giant is strong? Yeah, so this is just humans then, and it's human in Westeros. And like I just explained, there might be a reason to rank them all above, because maybe if Khal Drogo find out that he has to fight Barristan Selmy, he's like, okay, so I'm going to wear armor too. Okay, but you're not used to wearing armor. Yeah, and I'm not going to use my rock. I'm going to use a broadsword, but I've never used a broadsword before.
Get on with the list.
Sorry.
Number 10.
Okay, number 10, I have Bronn. This is like, some of these on the bottom part of the list is people that I've seen fight, and they're good fighters, but they're not like stellar fighters. But Bronn, I think he's a survivor.
Yes.
So I think he will find a way to survive. And he could run around and tire them out, or he could just kill them really quickly because he's a really good killer and he has the experience. He might not have as much training as many of the other ones. But this kind of filler, and there are many other people in the books who could take this place. But I just like his style, so that's
he
why I
will
picked
find
him.
a way to not be at the fight and steal the entrance fee money.
Yeah, so this is the closest thing I have to Jack and Hagar, which is just figure out a completely different way to do it.
Yes.
Okay, number 9 I have Jorah Mormont. He did win the tournament at Lannisport after the Great George Rebellion.
Yes.
So he's a top-notch jouster, and he's also served as a mercenary.
And you are considering these guys at any time of their life?
Sorry.
During the books?
All of these are at the beginning of the books.
Okay.
So that's pretty much the beginning of the TV series also.
Yes.
So some people are too old to make the like Robert Baratheon, for example, would be
Yes.
better than Jorah Mormont and Bronn, but he's too old now, or too fat.
Yeah, no Night of the Morning stuff.
Exactly, he's too dead.
Yes. That makes a bad fight.
Yeah, Arthur Dayne would beat everybody in this list.
He would win if he wasn't dead.
Yes, exactly. But being alive is very important.
Yeah, it helps.
In fighting. Jorah Mormont is also big, and he's bigger and younger in the books than he is in TV series.
Okay.
Number 8, I have Jon Royce. Bronn's Jon Royce. He's the leader of House Royce, and he's also a tournament knight. He likes to travel around and joust and stuff at tournaments.
Okay.
And be in the melee. We see him when he comes up to the Eyrie to say hello to Sansa. And
Judge Littlefinger.
And Judge Littlefinger, yeah. And then later they have him take care of Robin, Sweet
Yes.
Robin, when they travel away. He in the books he's really big, at least as big as the Hound. And Sansa remember him when he visited Winterfell. He was training with Eddard, Ned Stark. So he beat him down, and he turned around to after he finished off him, he turned around and finished off Roderick Castle, the Master at Arms, as well. And those are like competent fighters, but not top notch. But he beat them both at the same time, basically.
Oh,
so
is he younger in the books?
He's younger in the books, but he's still 40 or something.
Okay, or he looked more 60-ish in the
series. He's much younger. I think his youngest. I think he has a son that's like 25, or maybe he's like 40, 45 or something.
Yes.
So he's younger and bigger and pretty badass.
And number 7.
Number 7 then is Great Jon Umber.
Yes.
He might be the best fighter in the north.
Yeah.
And he has great respect. I mean, he's also like 7 feet tall, or almost 7 feet tall, and he's a great fighter. And at the Red Wedding, the Freys are worried about him because once they start stabbing everybody, they're afraid that he's going to go berserk and kill a bunch of people. Yes. So they assigned their best drinker to try to drink him under the table.
Okay.
So he'll be really drunk when the stabbing starts. And when the stabbing starts, this guy, this Frey drinker, is lying under the table in the pool of his own making, while Great John is still drinking. So the first guy who tries to kill him, he just breaks his arm and takes his sword and kills another guy, and then like 7 guys falls on top of him, so they're able to hold him down. But he's still, after being really drunk, he's still really, really dangerous.
So does he die at the Red Wedding in the books?
No, I don't. I think they killed his son, but they didn't kill him at the Red Wedding in the books.
Oh, because in the series you get the impression that he is at his keep.
No, I think no, I don't think that he's at his keep. I didn't get that impression, but maybe I'm wrong. I think...
maybe that's just my idea. We don't know anything about him in the show. He was in season 1 and then he disappeared. And
yeah,
mentioned
in the books it seems like he's probably in a dungeon somewhere under the twins or something.
Yeah, he was never referenced in the war, right? Was he in the show?
After the Red Wedding, I don't think...
No, before the Red Wedding even. Did they mention he was leading an army somewhere? The actor wasn't in the show. But...
Oh, you mean that he was not in the Red Wedding even? Yeah. No, he was just a season... Yeah, you're right. He was in season 1 and then they didn't renew his contract or something. I don't remember him from season 2.
And he wanted to lead the front of the vanguard of the army, and he didn't get to.
Yeah.
So that was the last thing we saw of him.
No, after that, he was telling Rob that he was too young to lead the army and so on. And then Rob, Direwolf, told him otherwise.
Exactly.
But then later in the war, he was the first one to say, "Well, there sits the only man I mean to bend my knee to."
Yes, but they're
still in the north.
Yeah, they're still in the north at that point, right?
Yeah, but this is after the time when he wants to lead the vanguard.
Yes, but
it's still season 1, I think.
Okay, so he should have gone to the war in season 2, and we just don't know what happened to him.
But he could have escaped somehow in the TV series, and
we are diverging from the subject. Number 6.
Number 6, Barristan Selmy.
All right.
He's the best fighter of his generation.
Yes.
But his generation is 65 years old.
Yeah.
So he's got more skill than anybody on the list, but he's too old to use all of that skill.
Okay, yeah. You don't see any 65-year-old MMA fighters.
Not many victorious ones. Okay, number 5, I have the Viper, Prince Oberyn Martell.
Yes.
He's obviously very good, very strong fighter, and he's also been serving as a mercenary in Essos. So he has training and experience.
Yes, and poison knowledge.
He's not afraid to use tricks.
No.
So he's a very strong fighter. Number 4, I have the Hound. The Hound...
Ooh, that's high.
Yeah, that's very high. But I think that,
is it better in the books?
I guess it's better... at least he doesn't lose to Brienne. He doesn't even fight Brienne.
No.
And I think he's better in the books. There is one fight, the fight in the tavern at the end. This is the beginning of season 4. Where he and Arya fights in the tavern.
Yeah.
In the books, he was not as impressive as he was in the TV series fighting in the tavern, and Arya had to help him more. But he's really drunk there because he drinks a lot of wine before the fighting starts. But I think he's really strong and really fast, and Jaime has great respect for him also.
Okay.
And I still haven't mentioned him, have I?
No, maybe he's not on the list.
Maybe not. 3rd place, I have Sir Garland the Gallant, or Sir Garland Tyrell. He's the big brother of Loras Tyrell.
Oh.
But he doesn't exist in the TV series.
Cut from the TV series.
In the books, there's 3 brothers. Willas, Garland, and Loras. And Loras is the youngest. Willas is the oldest. He's not fighting anymore because he was in a jousting accident, had his horse fall on him. So now he's spending his time sitting down. So, but he's the heir to Highgarden.
Yes.
And then Garland is the middle brother. And Garland, he practices, when he practices sword fight, he fights like 3 guys at once.
Okay.
Because one guy is too easy for him. And that's pretty mad if you can fight several guys at once.
Yeah, so Loras has become all 3 brothers in the TV series?
Yeah, but he's still walking around like the 2 youngest ones.
Yeah, the best of the 3 brothers.
Yeah, exactly. He has. Loras, in the books, he's top-notch jouster. But the sword fight, he's just really good. He's not
Okay.
It's not world class.
Not good enough to make the top 10 list.
But he's only 16 or something, and he's kind of small. But he might get bigger and he might get older, and so he might become as good as his brother Garland then.
Okay.
Second place, this is the big one, the Mountain.
Whoa!
I had the Mountain as second place.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he's described as being about 7 foot 7 inches or something, like 230 centimeters.
Pretty big.
And he can move, and he weighs at least 200 kilos, probably more. And the strength is just ridiculous.
Yes.
And I mean, when he puts on his armor, he's got really thick armor, and he fights with a big shield and a great sword, a two-handed sword, but he fights with just in one hand because he's so strong.
All right.
He has this big reach. If you wanna use your sword, I mean, if you have a great sword, you don't have a shield, and you're still gonna have less reach than him. So he's gonna hit you before you hit him.
Yeah.
And he's gonna hit you so hard you're not gonna know what year it is.
Yeah, that seems pretty dangerous.
Yeah, and you still have to get past his shield. So you're hacking with your broadsword, not doing very much damage to this guy because he's so big and got so much armor, while he's smacking at you with his greatsword.
Yeah.
And it's so much more powerful. So
how did Oberyn Martell beat him?
in the books, it's more obvious. Okay, he came there prepared. Oberyn...
He poisoned his weapons.
Yeah, but even before he left Dorne, he knew that he was going to try and fight the Mountain. That was his agenda.
Oh.
So he brings his shield that's polished, so it will blind the Mountain if it's the right angle from the sun and so on. That might be for everybody, but he's also wearing light armor, because there's no point in wearing heavy armor against the Mountain. If he hits you, and then you're fucked.
Yeah.
So you might as well wear just light armor, no armor at all. Also, he's not fighting with a sword; he's fighting with a spear, and this is more explained in the books that, okay, everybody that the Mountain has ever fought has had less reach than him.
Oh, but now he has more reach.
But now he has more reach, and the Mountain doesn't know how to fight against that because nobody fights like that.
Clever Oberyn.
Yeah, so Oberyn. So they say, well, but Oberyn beat the Mountain. How can you have the Mountain above Oberyn on the top list?
Yeah, now you're stealing my lines.
But David beat Goliath.
Yeah, but Goliath maybe was still a better fighter.
Yeah, well, he was probably a better fighter anyway. But I mean, you don't write songs about the people who win the easy fights.
True.
You write about the people that won the hard fights. So I think that, I mean, this was perfect circumstances for Oberyn. If they had fought in like a smaller area, like a smaller room, or inside the phone booth, then Oberyn has no chance at all. He just gets crushed in 5 seconds flat. If they fight with other weapons or no weapons at all, Oberyn loses.
Yeah. I think this wasn't conveyed as clearly in the show. It was a great scene, but the Icelandic guy was too small and had much less training than the guy playing Oberyn had.
I think that it's not the TV and the books are not the same thing. And Oberyn did seem more powerful and more. In the TV series, I would say that Oberyn is the better fighter.
Okay.
But in the books, I say that Mountain is the better fighter overall. Although under perfect circumstances, Oberyn will beat him.
So how does the number one guy on your list beat the Mountain?
I'm not sure how he does that, but George R. R. Martin has said that Jaime Lannister is the best fighter of his generation.
Oh.
And he's the same generation as the Mountain.
They're in black and white then.
So how can I argue with someone who made up the character?
That's very hard.
That's just silly. So that's why Jaime has to be on the top of the list. Although when you see him fighting Brienne, who is not even on this list, maybe I should talk about... Yeah, you have Brienne at number 3.
Yes.
And that makes perfect sense in the TV series, because she beats up Loras in single combat.
Yeah.
But in the books, she actually charges her horse into Loras and wins that way. So that's very different.
Yeah.
And in the books, she doesn't even fight the Hound. But instead she fights she has a couple of fights with outlaws. And she does okay, but not great.
Okay.
And
she fights on Ned Stark level.
Yeah, so she's more like Ned Stark level.
Yeah.
Although she's incredibly strong. Jaime Lannister thinks about it when he fights her, and she's able to resist, and he's like, wow, how can she parry so much? she's like surrounded by a steel cage that is her sword that she's protecting herself with. But she's thinking, this is sick. He's chained, he's tired, he's out of shape, and still doing everything just to defend myself. So she's really impressed by him. And he's like, wow, how can a woman be so good? And especially, how can she be strong? She's stronger than him, physically.
Oh.
And then he's thinking, that's sick. I only know about maybe the Mountain, Great John, and the Hound, who are stronger than me. And I would beat them all in a fight, he's thinking.
Okay, well, there it is.
Yeah, so even though she has this almost being as good as Jaime, but she's not doing... I mean, in the books and also in the TV series, Jaime Lannister, his troops are attacked at the Battle of the Whispering Woods, end of season 1.
Yes.
And when he realizes that he can't escape, he decides to try and kill Robb Stark. But Robb Stark has dozens of bodyguards. But he starts cutting his way through those bodyguards and almost makes it to Robb Stark, including a couple of sons of Karstark, which then leads to other problems.
Yes.
And a bunch of other people also. So he's just a machine. It's not like... if he were facing 2 or 3 wild outlaws, he would just kill them and laugh about it.
Yes.
Whereas Brienne really has to make her best effort. So that's why not Brienne is on the list, because... And you have to remember that the books and the TV series is not the same thing.
Yeah. Well, very well put.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. We'll be back with... I think this was our last off-season episode, but we'll do a pre-season episode for season 6.
Absolutely.
When the time comes. Season 6 starts April 24, 2016. We'll cover that as well.
Absolutely. Again.
See you!
Bye-bye. Bra! Ja, vi hade argument för våra positioner och så vidare. Och jag håller inte med om din lista, men jag håller inte med om min lista. Det var inte meningen heller.
Din lista var bra.
Ja, din lista var också bra. Jag tycker att det var vissa konstigheter och så vidare. Jag tycker, alltså, Robb Stark, vad har du för lista Robb Stark?
Jag borde lista flera längst ner där. Bruce Bolton,
De kan mycket väl vara... Alltså det...
Frågan är om Robb Stark kunde slåss med.
Ja, precis. I böckerna så säger de att Robb Stark är en bättre jouster och Jon är en bättre swordsman. Just det, den här killen som skulle kunna vara listan är Mance Raider. Han har ju liksom överlevt. Alltså, speciellt i tv-serien. Han är liksom gammal och har hållit på och sprungit runt bland wildlings i 20 år eller något. Han måste ha fått hur mycket fighter som helst. Och han lyckas böja deras vilja liksom. I böckerna så är hälften så gammal. Pratade vi över nu? Hör